Hello, and thank you for joining me today. If you're a woman in your 60s or beyond, I want you to know that what we're about to discuss could be one of the most important conversations you'll have all year, especially when it comes to your body, your vitality, and your emotional health. My name is Dr. William Lee, and as a board certified physician with over 3 decades of experience dedicated to the well being of women just like you, I'm here to bring a vital topic out of the shadows. We're going to delve into the profound impact of intimacy, particularly the connection you have with your own body through self intimacy, on your health as you navigate your golden years. This isn't just about pleasure, it's about a fundamental aspect of your physiological and emotional wellness that has been overlooked for far too long. Allow me to share a story that has stayed with me. A few months ago, the daughter of a former patient, Eleonora, reached out to me. Eleonora had always been a woman full of life, sharp, warm, and endlessly vibrant. One morning, her daughter found her resting peacefully in her favorite chair by the window, a still warm cup of tea on the table beside her, and her knitting resting in her lap as the sun illuminated her face. While she looked at peace, she had passed away. The official cause was listed as natural, but having followed Eleonora's gradual health decline, I saw a different, more nuanced story. Her vitality wasn't stolen by a sudden illness. It had quietly and slowly eroded over years of neglecting her physiological needs, specifically in the crucial areas of her pelvic and emotional health. Eleonora's story is not an isolated one. Each year, thousands of older women face a similar silent decline, not because they are doing anything wrong, but because society has, both overtly and subtly, taught them that a vital part of their being has an expiration date. They are led to believe that their intimate health is no longer a priority, that desire fades with age, and that pleasure is a luxury of the young. But I am here to tell you the unvarnished truth. Maintaining a loving and respectful connection with your body through self-touch is not only natural, but it is also absolutely critical for your well-being. This conversation isn't about promoting indulgence. It's about preserving essential functions like circulation, hormonal balance, and emotional resilience. When a woman ceases all forms of sexual activity, including self-pleasure, especially after menopause, her body doesn't just hit pause, it begins a process of significant change. The health of her tissues, the balance of her hormones, the strength of her muscles, and her overall mood can all start to deteriorate. The question I hear most often in my practice is, why didn't anyone tell me this? That is precisely why we are having this conversation now. In this video, I will walk you through 4 medically recognized consequences of completely stopping self-stimulation in later life, and more importantly, what you can do to prevent them. These are not passing fads or unproven theories. They are facts rooted in science and backed by years of clinical experience with thousands of women over 60. So I urge you to stay with me, as the final point we discuss is perhaps the most emotionally resonant and least talked about, and it may just help you understand yourself in a new and profound way. Let's begin with the first and often most overlooked consequence, the gradual loss of vaginal and clitoral function. Think about your muscles for a moment. What happens when you stop using them for an extended period? They weaken, lose their tone, and can even shrink. The very same principle applies to the delicate tissues in your pelvic region. Your vaginal walls and clitoral tissues are incredibly vascular and sensitive, meaning they thrive on consistent blood flow and gentle stimulation to remain healthy and responsive. According to leading medical institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the North American Menopause Society, when these tissues are deprived of arousal for long periods, especially after menopause, they can lose their elasticity, become thinner, and produce less natural lubrication. This condition, known as vaginal atrophy, often first manifests not as dryness or discomfort, but as a subtle fading of sensation, a diminished capacity for pleasure, and in some cases pain during intimacy or even while sitting. These are not simply inevitable symptoms of aging. They are your body's physical signals that it requires attention and care. I remember a patient, let's call her Carol, who came to see me at the age of 71, visibly anxious and distressed. She explained that she hadn't felt comfortable down there for years, and that when she had recently tried to reconnect with her body, the experience was painful and disheartening. She was convinced something was fundamentally wrong with her. But Carol wasn't broken. Her body had simply adapted to a state of disuse. Much like a joint that stiffens from lack of movement, the vaginal and clitoral tissues become less responsive when they are not regularly stimulated. The encouraging news is that in many cases, with the gradual and gentle reintroduction of stimulation, the use of vaginal moisturizers, and sometimes guided pelvic therapy, sensation can be significantly improved. However, the key is to address it early. What saddened me most about Carol's situation was the years she spent believing that this was a normal and unchangeable part of aging that she simply had to accept. You do not have to accept it. Even light and respectful forms of arousal, practiced a few times a week, can promote vital circulation, preserve elasticity, and maintain the health of this crucial system. It doesn't need to be an elaborate or complicated practice. Simple, consistent care can make a world of difference. Now let's delve into something even more fundamental to your overall health, your hormones. While most people rightly associate significant hormonal shifts with menopause, as estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels change dramatically, many women are unaware that intimacy, particularly orgasm, continues to play a vital role in their hormonal landscape for decades after. When you experience arousal and release, your brain unleashes a powerful cocktail of hormones and neurotransmitters. Oxytocin, often referred to as the bonding hormone, instills a sense of calm and connection. Dopamine provides a boost to your mood and motivation, while endorphins act as natural pain and stress relievers. These chemicals work in harmony to create a state of balance and vitality. Imagine for a moment going years without activating this natural, rejuvenating cascade. In my practice, I have met countless women who have come to me with complaints of sleeplessness, irritability, persistent sadness, or a general sense of emotional flatness. They had tried various remedies, supplements, dietary changes, even antidepressants. But when we delved deeper into their daily lives, a common pattern emerged, a complete absence of intimacy. I will never forget a retired school principal whose voice trembled as she told me, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." And the truth is, she wasn't imagining it. Without the natural hormonal reset that arousal and orgasm provide, many women experience heightened stress levels, diminished resilience to life's challenges, and an increase in symptoms of depression and anxiety. This is not to say that pleasure is a magical cure-all, but it is undeniably a powerful and natural support for your brain's delicate chemical balance. And the wonderful thing is, it is never too late to reactivate this pathway. Through gentle self-exploration, mindfulness-based intimacy practices, or other self-guided methods, you possess the innate ability to maintain your neurochemical wellness. This isn't self-indulgence, it's a potent medical tool that you carry with you every single day. Let's continue this crucial conversation by exploring a part of your health that many women are never taught to care for until a problem arises, your pelvic floor. This intricate group of muscles forms a supportive hammock at the base of your pelvis, holding up vital organs such as your bladder, uterus, and rectum. When these muscles are strong and functioning optimally, they allow you to maintain bladder control, have healthy bowel movements, support your posture, and experience pleasurable intimacy. However, when the pelvic floor weakens, it can profoundly impact everything from your sense of independence to your self-confidence. What most people fail to realize is that regular sexual activity, including self-pleasure, is one of the most natural and effective ways to keep these muscles engaged and strong. During an orgasm, the pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically, which is essentially a workout for this deep, stabilizing group of muscles. When that natural stimulation ceases, so does the regular opportunity for these muscles to stay toned and healthy. I have treated numerous women, some in their late 60s and others in their 80s, who first came to see me because of bladder leakage. This issue had often led them to stop participating in their favorite social activities, give up long walks, or avoid traveling, all due to the fear of an embarrassing accident. They typically assume it's an inevitable consequence of aging. However, age is not always the primary culprit. Muscle disuse frequently is. In fact, studies supported by the National Institutes of Health have demonstrated that regular pelvic floor engagement, whether through targeted exercises or healthy sexual function, helps to reduce the risk of urinary incontinence and even pelvic organ prolapse. Let me share the story of Joan, a spirited and kind 74-year-old woman I treated a few years ago. She was sharp, witty, and had a passion for crossword puzzles, but she hadn't left her home in over a month. The reason? Every time she laughed or sneezed, she experienced leakage. After a thorough physical exam and a compassionate conversation, it became clear that her pelvic floor had weakened significantly. She hadn't engaged those muscles in years, neither through exercise nor any form of intimate stimulation, and she was completely unaware of the direct link between this private aspect of her health and her everyday freedom. With a personalized program that included pelvic floor exercises, proper hydration, and the gentle reintroduction of self-intimacy, Joan gradually regained her confidence. Within a few months, she was back to walking with her friends and even planning a trip to visit her sister out of state. You deserve that same freedom. Maintaining your pelvic health doesn't require a strict or uncomfortable regimen. Simply staying connected to your body in ways that feel good and safe is a vital part of preserving your independence as you age. Now I want to transition to a topic that is even more personal, something that has been whispered to me in countless private conversations with my patients: the slow, creeping emotional disconnection that can set in when intimacy fades from a woman's life. It often begins subtly. You might stop engaging with your body due to discomfort, or perhaps you've internalized the belief that those days are simply behind you. You might tell yourself that it's normal, that your mother never spoke of such things, and your friends rarely bring it up. Over time, however, this disconnect doesn't remain confined to one area of your life. It begins to permeate your very sense of self. Women have shared with me that they no longer feel feminine, that they avoid looking at themselves in the mirror, not out of vanity, but because they feel something is missing. They describe feeling invisible in rooms they once commanded, their laughter becoming quieter, their outreach to others more hesitant. More than anything, they express a profound sense of loneliness, even when surrounded by loved ones. There is no laboratory test that can detect this. It won't show up on any medical scan, but its impact is undeniably real. Intimacy is about so much more than physical pleasure. It encompasses identity, connection, and a feeling of vitality. Leading institutions, including the Cleveland Clinic, have highlighted that regular intimacy, especially when coupled with emotional self-care, can help regulate mood, alleviate anxiety, and even preserve cognitive function. The reason for this lies in the brain's response to touch and arousal, which triggers a release of well-being promoting neurotransmitters. Serotonin works to stabilize your mood, while oxytocin helps to reduce feelings of isolation and foster a sense of connection. These aren't just feel-good chemicals, they play an integral role in keeping you emotionally resilient and mentally sharp. When your body is deprived of these signals for extended periods, the effects can mimic or even exacerbate depression, particularly in women who are already navigating major life transitions, such as retirement, the loss of a spouse, or other health challenges. The practice of self-intimacy in this context becomes a profound act of self-love and a powerful tool for maintaining your emotional and mental well-being as you age.